Okay, picture this. Imagine you're a military strategist, and you're facing your absolute worst nightmare, a coordinated attack from everywhere. The land, the air, the sea, all at once. How do you even begin to respond? Well, that's a scenario that every modern military has to be ready for. So that's the big question, right? How does a nation prepare to defend itself against that kind of complex, overwhelming threat? The answer, it turns out, isn't just about having more soldiers or more tanks. It's about having smarter tech. It's about building a technological fortress that can see, think, and strike faster than any opponent. So in this explainer, we're going to break down how India is building this high-tech arsenal piece by piece. We'll kick things off with the unbreachable shield that protects the skies. Then we'll look at the eyes in the sky for air superiority. After that, we'll dive into the sea with the masters of the ocean and then get our high-tech boots on the ground. And finally, we'll see how it all connects to create a truly future-ready force. All right, let's dive right in with the first and maybe the most critical challenge, defending your airspace. In any modern conflict, the first punch is probably coming from above. We're talking missiles, drones, fighter jets. So how on earth do you build a shield that can stop all of that? Well, the secret isn't some single magic bullet. It's a strategy called layered air defense. I want you to think of it like a series of invisible onion-like layers around the country. If a threat gets through the outer layer, there's another one waiting for it, and then another one inside that. Each layer is designed to handle different threats at different distances. And the crown jewel of this strategy is the S-400 system. But here's the thing, it's not just one missile launcher, it's 4 different systems all rolled into one. At its shortest range, about 40 kilometers, it can zap things like mortar attacks, push out to 120 kilometers, and it's intercepting fighter jets. At 250 kilometers, it's knocking out drones. And at its max range, a whopping 400 kilometers, it can take down long-range bombers before they're even a serious threat. This kind of tech gives India a serious edge. I mean, if you compare the S-400 to Pakistan's main system, the HQ-9, which is based on older tech, you really see the difference. One of the biggest advantages, it's mobile. A lot of air defense systems are just sitting ducks, but the S-400 can pack up and move, making it incredibly hard to find. After all, you can't hit what you can't find. And just to give you a sense of how vital this system is considered, India's deal for 5 squadrons of the S-400 was worth 35,000 crore rupees. That is a massive investment, and it really tells you everything you need to know about its importance to national security. Of course, the S-400 isn't working in a vacuum. That would defeat the whole layered idea, right? It's plugged into other systems, like a ballistic missile defense shield for really high-altitude threats, and the homegrown Akash missile for medium-range targets. Every single piece adds another layer to that so-called unbreachable shield. Okay, so the shield is in place, but a strong defense is only half the story. To really own the skies, you need the best eyes in the sky. This is all about air superiority, not just protecting your turf, but seeing everything your opponent is up to and being able to project your own power. I love this description. A flying CCTV camera with a 400-kilometer view. That's the perfect way to explain an AWACS plane. It's basically a command center in the sky with a giant radar on its back that can spot enemy aircraft, missiles, you name it, from hundreds of kilometers away. That gives your own forces a massive head start. Now, if you just look at the raw numbers, India has a clear advantage in how many planes it has. But, size isn't everything. The real difference maker is the advanced capabilities of the aircraft in that fleet. So let's look at a couple of key examples. A flying tank. I mean, that just about says it all, doesn't it? The Apache attack helicopter is absolutely armed to the teeth with chain guns, rockets, and Hellfire missiles. Its radar can track hundreds of targets at once, and crucially, it's built to operate in some of the toughest places on Earth, like the high-altitude mountains on India's borders. And then there's the Rafale jet. This thing is a genuine game changer. And here's why. It's not just about speed or weapons. It's about where it can fight. During the Galwan Valley standoff with China, the Rafale's ability to fly at over 15,000 feet with a full arsenal was a huge strategic advantage. Most other fighter jets just can't breathe up there, let alone fight effectively. All right, so from the thin air of the Himalayas, let's now drop down to the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. Securing the seas, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It's a mix of raw power and super sophisticated networks. When it comes to projecting power across an entire ocean, nothing, and I mean nothing, beats an aircraft carrier.
It's a floating airbase that can launch jets from anywhere. And this simple chart, well, it shows a massive strategic advantage for India, the ability to project air power thousands of miles away from home. And this isn't just about buying ships from other countries anymore. The INS Vikrant is a huge achievement for India's domestic industry. We're talking about a 45,000-ton floating city that was designed and built entirely in India. That is a powerful symbol of self-reliance. It can carry about 30 aircraft and a crew of 1,600. But a modern navy isn't just a collection of ships, it's a network. And the heart of India's naval network is a satellite called GSAT-7, or Rukmini. The best way to think of it is as the Navy's own private, super secure internet in the sky. It connects every ship, sub, and plane across the entire Indian Ocean, letting them share data and coordinate in real time without anyone listening in. We've done the air, we've done the sea. Now let's come back down to Earth and talk about the tech that equips the soldier on the ground. Because India's land borders, they are some of the most extreme environments on the entire planet. And that requires some equally extreme technology. So let me ask you this. Imagine your army needs to get a 60-ton tank across a river, but the bridge has been destroyed. What do? Well, the answer is this incredible piece of kit called the Modular Bridge System. It's basically a giant military Lego set that lets soldiers build a heavy-duty bridge in as little as 20 minutes. Just amazing. You know, they say necessity is the mother of invention. Well, back in the Kargil War, the Indian Army had this huge problem: how to get enemies out of fortified positions high up in the mountains. That challenge led directly to the development of the Pinaka rocket system. A battery of these things can unleash 72 rockets in less than a minute, completely saturating a 1-kilometer area. To really wrap your head around the conditions, just think about this. A cold winter day in Delhi is what, maybe 7 degrees Celsius? The soldiers in the Siachen Glacier are operating in temperatures of -50. To even survive that, they rely on this incredible 3-layer extreme cold weather clothing system, all developed in India. It's a high-tech suit that is absolutely essential for operating on the world's highest battlefield. So, we've seen all this incredible tech, right? In the air, on the sea, on the ground. But the final piece of the puzzle, and maybe the most important one, is making all of it work together as one single, smart, unified system. And the source material for this explainer had the perfect analogy for this: India's own Jarvis. That's exactly what the Combat Management System, or CMS, is for a warship. It's the central brain. It's constantly pulling in data from radar, sonar, dozens of other sensors, and then it uses AI to identify threats, recommend what to do, and even carry out a response, all in a split second. It's where humans and AI work together. So when you pull it all together, from layered air defenses and flying tanks to homegrown aircraft carriers and AI-powered command systems, it is crystal clear the technology is completely reshaping the modern military. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating and maybe slightly terrifying final question. As all this tech gets smarter and more connected, what does the future of warfare even look like? That's the question that planners all over the world are trying to answer right now.